Hey there, I'm Angella Sharpe, and welcome to the Daily Mix. Now, we have been off for a month, so I hope you have been doing a ton of fun things and activities with your family and friends. I've done a bunch of stuff over that month of June, actually. NASCAR was in town at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and I got to work with the NASCAR people over there. I got to climb up into a pit box, and I got to interview some drivers before they took to the race. It was a ton of fun, and that race is huge, a nearly sellout crowd, which looks amazing from the track. I also got to go to Sikeston, Missouri for their balloon festival. If you know anything about me, you know I love hot air balloons, so seeing all the balloons is always a highlight of my day, and that was a ton of fun. And of course, there was a ton of Cardinals games happening over the month of June. But that plays in to my guest today, you guys. I am so excited. I have John Ulett. Uman is in the house right here. You know him from KSHE 95 or the Cardinals PA announcer. So it's so much fun. We're having a great time, and I can't wait to chat with him in just a little bit. So let's get started on today's Daily Mix. Can you believe it's July already? I know, June went by so fast, and summer is my favorite. Now, I know a lot of people are gearing up for a long weekend to celebrate the 4th of July, and there is a ton of fun planned for the new Celebrate St. Louis festival happening on the 4th. The always popular America's Birthday Parade will get things started with an array of vibrant floats and marching bands, live performances, and more. And if you're going to that and you see the Firebird Fest Club and you see a bright blue 4th Gen, that's going to be me. I'm going to be in the parade, so wave and say hi. Of course, the Misty Blues all-female skydiving team will be there to dazzle the crowd at the end of the parade. Now, the festivities continue all day long with live music under the Gateway Arch, the air show, a family fun zone, and the Eadsbridge 150th anniversary celebration. A salute to the troops and folds of honor. And of course, you can't end things without the fireworks spectacular that will close out the evening. Celebrate St. Louis is this Thursday, July 4th, and starts at 10 a.m. with the parade. You can find a full schedule and lineup at celebratestlouis.org. You can also celebrate America's birthday at the City Museum. Electric Sky, an all-ages party on the rooftop, will offer a 360-degree view of the Independence Day fireworks from across the St. Louis skyline. I bet that looks amazing from up there. Tickets also include general admission on the 4th, plus games, face painting, balloon animals, and more, including the Ready Go Dog Show, which will bring crazy canine athletes to the rooftop, zooming through the air and wowing the crowd. The expedition runs throughout the day and features world-class frisbee fetching dogs and the show-stopping big airbox jump. The Ready Go Dog Show runs through July 14th, and Electric Sky will take place on July 4th. To learn more about both events, visit thecitymuseum.org. The festivities continue this weekend at Westport Plaza with a family-friendly Have a Blast Bash. Enjoy magic shows, face painting, strolling entertainers, and more family fun beginning at 3 p.m. Now, as the day goes on, you can also check out the pie eating contest. That sounds like it would be a lot of fun to watch. Live music and the national anthem sung by Charles Glenn. If you're a blues fan, you know who Charles Glenn is. And of course, they'll have a fireworks show. All the festivities will take place at the new Westport Plaza outdoor event venue this Saturday, July 6th. You can find all the details at westportstl.com. Sunday Stories, hosted by A Red Circle, continues this Sunday. Children pre-K through 5th grade are invited to come out to Heaven's Creamery and enjoy story time with special guest readers, free books, and ice cream. This weekly event is free and open to the public. This Sunday, July 7th, a reading specialist will also be on hand to provide resources and guidance for struggling readers. Sunday Stories takes place every Sunday through July 28th from 3 to 5 at Heaven's Creamery in Ferguson. Visit aredcircle.org to learn more. Now, as Dreamgirls closes out on Wednesday, I'm going to see it tomorrow actually at the Muny. It is the Muny's 106th season. It will continue next week with Disney's The Little Mermaid, one of the most popular shows ever. And the show will be returning to the Muny stage for the 3rd time to tell the tale of young Ariel who yearns to go where the people are. The musical will have favorite tunes from the 1989 film, like Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl, and Poor Unfortunate Souls. The Little Mermaid runs July 8th through the 16th. For tickets and more information, go to muny.org. Now, next week, the St. Louis Cardinals will host Whitey Herzog's night in honor and celebrate the life of the late Hall of Famer manager. Before they take on to the Kansas City Royals, the Cardinals will hold a special pregame ceremony that will include members of the Herzog family and several Cardinals Hall of Famers. As part of the special event, 15,000 fans 16 and older will take home a t-shirt featuring the White Rat, and 10,000 fans will receive a Whitey Herzog decal. Whitey Herzog Night is set for Wednesday, July 10th. For tickets and more information, visit cardinals.com/promotions. Now, you know, before I bring the guest out, I'd like to show you about a movie that's hot. It's in theaters now, right? Well, I got to check out The Bike Riders. It kind of looks like a documentary. It is kind of a documentary on a motorcycle gang. A guy was taking photos, wrote a story about this motorcycle gang, and then, of course, they made it into a movie. I took my dad with me because my dad loves motorcycles. He loved the movie. I actually loved it, too, and I'm not nearly as into motorcycles as he is. So check this out.
I've been thinking, I can't run this club forever. I built this for nothing. This is our family. You and me, kid.
From the beginning?
Yes, please.
It was the golden age of bike riders. And I never felt so out of place in all my life. That's when I saw him for the first time. It took my breath away.
I'm Benny.
5 weeks later, I married him. I thought I could change him, you know? Not to be different, but to be, I don't know, like he's wild.
Hey!
I told you to take that jacket off.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off. What about the bar? Burn it down.
I want you to quit riding.
Don't ask that.
Benny. I need you.
You can't have him.
If he wants to ride a bike, he'll ride a bike. Hey, you know, just think it over, you know.
6, 5.
The Bike Riders, like I said, is in theaters now, and it's a great movie. But look, by the magic of television, I'm joined with John Ulett. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Angela.
I'm so excited to have you here. I feel like everybody knows you from KSHE 95. How many years have you been with KSHE 95?
This past May, I got to the 48-year mark, so
do you know how
2 more years.
Incredible that is in radio?
Yeah.
Radio has such a high turnover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. I've been lucky. I mean, it's a combination of a few things. I think, you know, first of all, KSHE has had the same format all those years.
Right, which is impressive alone.
Yeah, and what usually costs people their jobs is format changes.
Right.
So we didn't have any of those, and we only had 3 owners in that entire time period too. So, we were able to be consistent because of the consistency of ownership and management, really.
That is amazing. Now, I'm sure from back in the day, you have some crazy stories. I know you recently kind of put on your crazy stories on the stage there.
Yeah.
What are some of the craziest things that have happened to you in your career?
Oh, well, I mean, gosh, there have been so many different ones. Having a car accident with Alice Cooper is one that people kind of freak out about.
What?
I was playing golf with him one day when he came to town with some friends at Quail Creek Golf Course, which is in South County. So he had to, after the round was over, he had to get to an event down on the roof of the Peaches record store that used to be at Hampton and Chippewa. And so after it was over, the round was over with, we got in my car and we were heading down to the event, and traffic was backing up, and I thought, oh my gosh, we're gonna be late. So I tried to take a side road, and some guy came out of the parking lot and just slammed right into the car and disabled the vehicle. I couldn't go any further.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Did he ever get to his event?
Well, yeah, we went into the Walgreens right there. This is before cell phones. We placed a phone call on the public phone there to my friend who just played golf with us. Said, "Hurry, you got to get over here, pick up Alice Cooper, and get him down to the thing." And so I hung up the phone. Alice and I got some Cheetos and soda. We sat on the curb and waited for my buddy to come and pick him up to take him down to the event. So
I feel like not a lot of people get to say they were in a car accident with Alice Cooper.
I got to eat Cheetos and drink soda with him on the curb. Yeah.
That's amazing. That is so cool. What has been like the best part of being in the radio business for all these years?
Well, I mean, I was lucky. I got in the radio business at a time when radio was the thing. That's how music artists were able to get their music out. Basically, it was the only way was through radio.
Right.
So radio was really important, and we were able to make a good living at it because radio had this vaulted position in our community. The internet came along and kind of changed all that for everybody. But I mean, for me, it was making a good living and just having fun. I mean, I had so much fun meeting so many famous people, and that job at KSHE allowed me to travel the world. I mean, I broadcast in Russia and Moscow in the early 1990s, and went to the Winter Olympics in Lillehammer, Norway. That was the Olympics when what's her name with the
Tanya Harding,
that whole Olympics thing. I was all in Lillehammer for that. And and all over Europe and the Caribbean and South America. That job has taken me everywhere.
That's really impressive, because when you think of radio in today's world, it's not quite as, send your radio jock out to all these places.
No, not anymore. No. The financial aspects of the business have changed dramatically. But back then, radio had all kinds of money for advertising. They'd buy billboards all over town. Every time rating periods came along, you'd see KSHE billboards on buses and on billboards out in the street and television commercials. And now radio is all pretty much just word of mouth. You don't really see much advertising at all. So the economics of the business have changed dramatically, and a lot of it has to do with the internet. We're competing with the internet for advertising dollars, and it's just gotten harder.
Oh, for sure. Well, how have you been able to kind of ride that wave and change with radio?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I kind of got lucky in the sense that, about 7 years into my job at KSHE, I got the Cardinal job.
Right.
And that put me in a whole different avenue of public eye. And so I kind of built a brand without realizing I was building my own brand back then. That made me valuable to the radio station for many years. And so they decided that getting rid of me was a bad idea, and I was like, all right, if you think it's a bad idea, I'll just go with it.
I'm just gonna ride with that. Well, let's talk about that Cardinals job, because you've been the PA announcer there for many years, and I feel like everybody kind of knows your voice. They hear your voice, they're like, oh, that's the Cardinals guy.
Yeah, well, this is my 40th full season doing that job. Yeah, and it started, I remember Marty Hendon was the guy who hired me down there. He was the PR director for a long time. He was the one that invented Fredbird. I think, as a matter of fact, Fredbird might be built in the image of Marty Hendon because they kind of looked alike.
Oh my gosh.
So they told me, when we hire somebody new here to be the PA guy, we want somebody who's going to be here every day because we want the same experience for the fan every time they come to the stadium. And I said, I'm your guy. I'll do that. So every year I make it my mountain to climb. I'm going to make every game no matter what. And, as far as my family goes, my children have scheduled their weddings around the Cardinals schedule.
Right.
Well, got lucky, my daughter had her first baby, my middle daughter had her first baby around the Cardinals schedule out in Phoenix, so we were able to go to that. So I might have missed a game if that wouldn't have worked out, but yeah, I mean, for me, it's just been a labor of love. And the older I get, I enjoy it even more,
Right.
Because when I first had it in the 80s and 90s, I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning after Cardinal games and, doing the
right,
radio
to do the
job.
radio.
Yeah, it was quite a grind,
Well, yeah, how were you even managed to stay healthy during that time because with that lack of sleep and everything?
Yeah, well, I take care of myself. I try to, I still run and do a lot of things physically to stay in shape. But yeah, I mean, it was a grind, and but now it's a lot easier since I don't get up every day in the morning anymore.
Right.
I'm kind of semi-retired from the radio station, although I'm still there. Quite a bit, more than I thought I was going to be, and so yeah, it's just right now for me, it's just perfect for an old retired dude, as a part-time job.
So now you're kind of getting there with a little more spirit.
Yeah.
One of the things I love to see is every once in a while the Cardinals have a little kid sit in with you to name 3 batters, and I love watching you because you kind of coach them through it, because a lot of times those little kids are scared to do that.
Yeah, they do.
And you got to coach them through that. Has that been just really cute to see those kids do that?
Yeah, I look forward to it. We only do it on weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I look forward to those games on the weekends for that, event.
Yeah.
And it depends on how old the child is. Sometimes we've had them as young as I think 4 years old in there.
Goodness.
And then, but the probably the sweet spot is when they're 7, 8, 9 years old, because they're still cute, little.
Right.
But they got something. They know the players' names, a lot of them. So you don't have to coach them as much. And they get into it a little bit more.
Right.
But the little bitty ones too are cute too. When they're just real soft voices up to
Real
the microphone.
quiet.
Yeah. Then they got to turn the microphone way up.
Way up.
And they'll forget to turn it back down, and I jump on and go, "Now batting!"
Right, they're like, oh no, we forgot. Well, so you've seen World Series wins, you've seen everything there. What has been some of the magical moments you've got to, I guess, announce or see?
Well, that Game 6 of the 2011 World Series, that was an incredible moment in Cardinal history. That's my favorite game, favorite memory. And then, of course, we had to win Game 7, or that would have been kind of just a footnote, So
right.
There was a lot of pressure to win Game 7. But that World Series really was exciting and my favorite. But yeah, I was there for 85, 87. We didn't win the World Series, but both times when we left town, we were up 3-2. So
right.
we lost them on the road. And then, 2004, we got wiped out there. But 2006, so yeah, I mean, I don't know how many, what's that, 6 World Series?
Yeah.
And once we got into the 2000s, the Cardinals have been very generous, and I've gotten World Series rings and
right.
Got a National League Championship ring, and very proud of those things. They're family heirlooms,
Well, absolutely, those are family heirlooms. I'm sure people are like, oh, you never wear them.
I really don't. I mean, I do have the replicas. So,
So you'll wear those.
Well, when I go to Phoenix for the winter, which I've been doing the last couple of winters with my wife, we have a grandson down there now and everything. I'll expose my I'll wear a jersey with my name on the back, for instance, because everybody out there knows who I am.
Right.
Because to hear when I do something like that, it feels egotistical, so I don't do that. I don't wear the rings, but down there I wore the replica rings, and I can't tell you how many people would come up to me and say, "Man, tell me about that ring.
Right.
Tell me that story.
Tell me the story there. Yeah, it's a talking. But you don't have to wear the jersey here. Everybody knows you, I feel like.
Oh, I know. Some of that, maybe. Yeah. I mean, that happens too. But
that happens too. That happens too. So you've got all these awesome stories. I want one more great one from back in the day at KSHE.
Oh, let me see. Gosh, some of them I can't tell.
Well, I know that.
See, one of the more exciting things that happened. Well, I mentioned about broadcasting from Russia.
Yes.
And this was 1990, before the communist government actually collapsed there. Okay. Gorbachev was in power at that time, and they were doing a thing called glasnost, which is they were opening their society to the Western world. So we were supposed to go to watch the Rolling Stones in concert there in Moscow.
Oh, okay.
Well, that concert didn't happen, but our trip through the brewery, it was not just me, it was our morning show and morning shows from other stations all around the country. We were all in this big junket to go to that thing. Well, the concert didn't happen, but we still carried through with the broadcasts. So I can remember one time sitting in the studio with all these Russian engineers and people, and some of them were KGB. It was still, even though they were trying to open society, it was still very oppressive.
Right.
And I, being a stupid guy, I'm just talking with the guys back at the studio in KSHE, and I go, you know what? I just don't think anything changes here in Russia unless there's some sort of violent revolution or something, And I could see these guys they're like going to go for the button to push to cut this guy off,
Right.
And then I realized I probably shouldn't go any further on that, But I could sense when I said it an uncomfortable feeling in the room.
They were kind of watching.
Yeah.
Now they're watching you closer.
Yeah. So it was quite a trip, and to be in Russia at that time was, everything was like just gray.
Right.
It was a colorless society, if you can imagine something like that. Yeah.
Crazy to think about. I feel like we could hear all your stories. Can somebody follow along with these stories and hear more from you?
The KSHE website has some things in our museum there that people can see a lot of great photos over the years that we've taken. And I was lucky, back then it wasn't like now where everybody have cameras and phones,
Right.
So we got lucky that, I guess maybe because we were in the entertainment business, we got lucky occasionally somebody had a camera,
Right.
So some photos were occasionally taken. So all those things are on the KSHE website at KSHE95.com.
I love that. We can check you out there. And then, of course, anybody can come to a Cardinal game, and they can hear your voice all over the speakers there as well.
Yeah.
And you have a personal, you're on X, I think, right?
Yeah, STL Uman on X, Instagram, Johnny Ulett. I mostly do stuff on Instagram, and then it goes to Facebook and Threads from there.
There you go. So you can definitely follow along with him. So many stories. John, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I was so nervous to ask him, and then he said yes, and now I got even more nervous. So thank you. I appreciate your time today. After you follow him, make sure you connect with us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. You can always let us know what you think and drop us a line at stltv.net. We want to hear from you. That's going to do it for the Daily Mix, but keep it right here on STL TV and Experience St. Louis. I'll see you next time.